Okay, I want to edit this serial story that you all have been contributing to, and I want to show you some of the things that one does when one edits one's work. So follow along on your screen, and I'm going to scroll down to the place where you guys started contributing, um, and I'm going to scroll down the window here. Um, um, and I'll watch what I do with some of my edits. Good and ability kind of say the same thing. So what I'm going to do is he was never good at staying focused on the game. Says the same thing, cuts down on the number of words. Okay, I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but watch what I do, and you can replay this video and see why I do some of these edits. I'll try to um, explain what I do. Spelling errors, icy blue eyes, it immediately turns the color of a fire engine. That's a nice detail, the color of a fire engine. Um, and put a comma there. Periods and commas go inside quotes. At least that's the way we do it here in America. Um, and this is what's called a comma splice. That needs to be a period. There's nothing wrong with short sentences and short paragraphs. Um, and that is a question that he's asking himself. That needs to be a question mark. Joe adjusted his grip on the bat, feeling the wood grain under his fingers. He found the place where his hands felt at home. He bent his knees ever so slightly. I would just say that's a cliche. So he bent his knees slightly to add force to his hit, to his swing, because we don't know whether he's going to hit the ball or not. And waited for the ball. As the ball flew high through the air, it's like slow motion, and he swung the bat. It looked um, it seemed like slow motion. It seemed like it was approaching him in slow motion. Okay, there's one idea. So let's finish that sentence and start a new sentence with the next idea. He swung the bat with such force that his whole body rippled from the sheer strength. We could probably do better than that, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. Um, um, when he felt the ball hit the bat and heard the cracking sound, Joe knew that he had hit a home run. How about that? Because those are two different things. Remember we talked about the five senses? Here's a good indication, two different sentences. He felt the crack of the bat, he felt the ball hit the bat, and he heard a crack, and he knew he hit a home run. So let's change that. The bat hit. He hit the ball squarely. Again, I'm just doing this as I go along. You might want to revisit this later. Crack of wood against leather. Or what is a ball made out of? Rawhide? Told Joe he had just hit a home run. Okay. He hit the ball. That feeling and the crack. Okay, so now he runs the bases. Let's do a separate paragraph because he's going to run the bases. And caught Josephine's eye once again as he rounded third. Again, we have a comma splice. We're joining two sentences with a comma. This time, she was the one to blush. And that's a good short paragraph. It's very dramatic. And try to cut out these to be verbs if you can. The game ended. Period. Joe's team had won, securing their spot in the playoffs this year. That night, the team went out to celebrate at the local pizza spot, comma, Tom's Cabin Pizza, comma, where they spent most of the time. And so, Gideon proud to have locals come up to them and congratulate them on their hard work. But Joe spent a good portion of the night Or let's say most of the night. Again, E.B. White, omit needless words. Joe spent most of the night staring at the old wooden door. Good, nice detail. Hoping, even fantasizing about Josephine walking through it. He even went as far as to imagine what he would say to her. Joe shook his head. Adverbs are not your friends. Sometimes they work, but that's the case where you should cut one out. To pop that bubble of thought, reminding himself that he was a complete stranger to her. Watch out for verb tense. We're telling the story in the past tense, so keep the verbs in the past tense. And the past tense really is the natural way to tell a story. I'll talk more about that. Okay, here we have some dialogue, which is good. Hey, dude, what's a crack-a-lackin', said Floyd. Now, Joe is going to speak. So we had Floyd speak, so Joe needs to speak in a separate paragraph. When a new person speaks, start a new paragraph. Floyd gave Joe a shake. Gave Joe's shoulder a shake, right? Let's be more specific. Come on, man, join the party. We're going to play. Right. Since that's dramatic, Floyd dumping his drink over Joe's head, let's put that in its own sentence. This cleared all thoughts of Josephine from Joe's head. This cleared all thoughts of Josephine from Joe's head as he chased his friend around the parlor. Hours, okay, so now we have some time lapse going. So we're going to start a new paragraph, but hours later, okay. Now here we have tossing and turning. Joe rolls over and stares at his clock. We've changed verb tense here, which is a no-no. You want to keep the story in the past tense. The natural way to tell a story is in the past tense because the story happens before the telling of the story. So let's keep the verbs in past tense. This is a verb tense shift. The second's ticked by. Okay, so we're going to change all these verbs into he couldn't get her out of his head. Okay, no need for the exclamation point there. Use those sparingly. With that thought, he jumped. Okay, we already know what that thought is. So let's just cut that out. He jumped out of bed and began to dress. Stopping only to steal one good look in the mirror, he rushed out the door and down the driveway to the empty street in his quiet suburban neighborhood. Okay, so now he's out in the street. We changed scenes, so let's go to another paragraph. All right, now we're back in past tense, so somebody else must have written this. It's very easy to slip to ping-pong back and forth between past tense and present tense. Watch out for that. Again, you have an easier time of it if you write in the simple past tense. The only lights to greet him the only lights to greet him, since there are more were the paired rows of street lights stretched to the horizon like some runway. Stretched to the horizon like some runway that magically, okay, like this is a simile. That's good. It's a visual image. In many ways, the street was a runway. I guess you want to emphasize that because we just called it a runway. So we want to put that in italics, which I think we do up here, right? Somewhere, and maybe not. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but anyway. Okay. Now here we are. This whole sentence is kind of problematic right here. This whole sentence, because it's really kind of explaining the metaphor. So you have a good metaphor, a good simile. I'm sorry, in the runway, but then you're going on to explain it. So let's see. Let's see if we can make this better. Joe wondered what adventure it would launch him toward next. How about that? Joe wondered what adventure it would launch him on next. And we don't need a question mark because wondering is not a question. He stood in the middle of the street with no direction, no plan of where to go, and no reason for why he left his bed in the first place. or why he had left his bed in the first place, because that took place before the past tense of the story, which is the now of the story. I don't want to spend too much more time here, because you're probably getting tired of watching me edit, but that is called the past perfect tense. He could not hear a sound, not even in his head. Let's take the passive voice out and make it active. He could hear no sound, not even in his head. There's only a picture of the girl behind first base, whose beauty was so captivating that it pulled him from reality long enough to forget the man throwing a hard ball past his head at 80 miles an hour. Okay, I'm going to stop there. This last sentence is kind of unclear. I guess he's back in the baseball game, but. Anyway, that's 11 minutes of video, so I hope you got something out of that. This is a really good start to the story, and I just want you to take this video and use it to help yourself when you start to edit your stuff. So I'm going to stop there, stop the record button, and if you have any questions, I'm going to put up another discussion about this video. And let's keep going on this serial story. This is a lot of fun.